I just talk a little bit about this leaf holder, leaf station that I created last year, and why I think this is a good sort of thing to have if you've got a reasonably large garden and you need a constant supply of mulch. So I use leaves to mulch vegetable beds in my garden. Eventually everything gets mulched, because if you got your beds mulched, you don't have to water them as often. The worms and all the soil organisms, sort of, it's an environment they like, so they're very active, and that's good for your soil quality. Also, they slowly break down over time, which is like a kind of fertilizer, right? The soil organisms eat the organic material in the leaves, and they poop, and that's fertilizer. Right? They're breaking stuff down. So what I did was last fall, on my way home from work, I would gather bags of leaves and I would dump them in here. And then when it was really, really high, I would get my kids to jump on it. We'd weight it down, just kept adding leaves and adding leaves. And every week I would put full bags of leaves on top to compress. Then I'd empty them, add more full bags of leaves. So I got a lot of leaves in here, and they're all compressed. And I did that last fall. And then all winter long, they got snowed on and rained on and frozen and thawed and all that sort of stuff. And now I've been using these leaves in my garden, and many of them are sort of nicely broken down, right? And they're all compressed together. You can see here, it's like a very tight mat of leaves, right? They're really tightly compressed together. And they're wet and they're damp, and there's all kinds of bugs and stuff. You go down far enough, eventually, well, it just keeps going down. Eventually we get down there, there's soil somewhere down there. So I got many, many layers of leaves. And whenever I want to mulch a bed, all I do is I just lightly rake the stuff that's on the surface, which is more broken down, right? That's what I did this morning. I raked up this pile of leaves. I just took all the stuff that was on the surface and raked it up like that into this pile. I'll put that in a container and I'll go distribute it in one of my beds. Let me show you a bed that I did this with already. So a nice bed of broccoli, and I started these in my driveway in little plant cells. It's nice and warm there in the asphalt. Then once they were about 4 inches high, I moved them out to the garden. And then once they were about 6 inches high, I mulched them. And the reason I wait to mulch them a few weeks, is if you mulch them right away, mulch is an incredibly favorable environment for slugs and flea beetles and some other pests, and they just can't handle the damage. You can see there's some damage here. There's a flea beetle right there, right? So there's some damage, but they can shrug it off at this point, right? If you have to use whatever kind of pesticide you're comfortable with. But if you wait a little bit before you mulch, it does help them get set up and get established before they start getting pestered by pests. But then I put these leaves down, and I haven't watered these for a month, and we've had some dry spells, right? But they're obviously doing great, right? They're healthy plants, right? If you live where I live, Nova Scotia, Canada, not everyone's got broccoli looking like this time of year. Here's a bed of I think these are Brussels sprouts. It could be collard greens. Anyway, I don't label my beds, and they're kind of indistinguishable when they're small. Anyway, these have been getting established, right? They've been in here for a few weeks, and I'm getting tired of watering them. So I watered them this morning, and I'm going to mulch them with the leaves. Over here, I got a bed of Swiss sprouts, Swiss chard, right? You can see the Swiss chard right there. But these aren't big enough to mulch yet. Right, so I'll put a barrier, like a piece of wood, down the middle, just to keep the leaves from blowing around too much. But I'm going to mulch those, let's say they're Brussels sprouts, and leave the Swiss chard unmulched until it's all about this size, right? This one's a good size. When they're all looking like that, then I'll mulch this side of the bed. Right, wait till they're about 6 inches high to mulch them. Same with these carrots, right? They're still small, right? If I put leaves down, the leaves will get blown on top of the greens here, and they'll be starved for light, and I'll lose a lot of carrots. So as much of a pain it is to have to water these from time to time, not every day, I'm going to leave these till they're a good 6-7 inches high, then I'll thin them and mulch them, and then I won't have to do anything for the rest of the summer. It's the first day of summer here. Here's a bed of peppers, and they need to be mulched. They've been out for a couple weeks. I haven't mulched them, but now they're getting to the point where they could probably use it. You know, peppers don't need water like other things, but any soil that's mulched provides a better growing environment for whatever's in there. So it's time to get this mulched. And it all comes back to having a ready supply of mulching material. Sure, you can mow your lawn and use grass clippings. There's all kinds of different things you can buy. In a pinch, you can use cardboard boxes, leaf bags. And they don't really feed the soil that much, but at least they keep the soil from drying out and suppress weeds. But for my money, leaves are where it's at, because people put them in bags, stick them at the end of the driveway, they collect them for you. So that's the way to go. You can run them through your lawnmower to process them down a little bit, but I think just leaving them like this all winter long, gathering in the fall when they're around, the time and compression and just breaking down, that seems to help, right? But they'll still, you know, it'll take in the next 2 months, right? You want your garden beds mulched in the summer months to keep them from drying out, so you don't have to water them a lot. And these leaves will not break down that quickly. They'll be fine for the next 2 months. So I just thought I'd do an update on this leaf mulch station that I built. That was a short little video. I'll put a link to it at the end of this one. Just using the chainsaw to make this, using sort of like log cabin style notches and that sort of thing. It was kind of a fun thing to create. But the main value of it is that I have this steady supply of leaves all gardening season long. I got them when I need them. They're all here because they're kind of like concentrated, compressed leaves. There's a lot more leaves here than it looks like. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com, and check out my articles at maritimegardening.substack.com. If you want to do me a favor, subscribe to my Substack page. If you want to do me a big favor, become a paying subscriber to my Substack page. Anyway, until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.